recruiting manager or the reporting manager can be an excellent coach, provided he or she wishes to. There's a reason behind the statement. Many times, because this manager has never been coached, so he decides not to coach, right? Or he thinks coaches need to have amazing oratory. That's number one. They need to be very, very charismatic. No, not necessarily. Whatever skills he has acquired, Ramakant Achrekar is a coach to Sachin Tendulkar. Yeah? So at any point of time in his entire career, he had a technical defect. He would have gone back to Ramakant sir and asked what has gone wrong. And he would have exactly told him, so probably the block hole needs to be narrowed. That's coaching. Yeah? The right frame. Please, to a client, coach him not to over everything, whatever he has. While there is no denying that people like to buy from people they like, they will always do business with someone they trust. Now, trust comes with knowledge. Trust comes with attitude, habits, and skills. We keep saying that we recruit for, or rather we hire for attitude, train for skills. So if you're putting too much energy toward relationship building versus following the sales process, please take immediate action to seek coaching on the proper method for maximizing each sales opportunity to its fullest potential. The moment this guy enters, he starts talking products. Now this is a very, very generic habit, even in a telecalling scenario. Most of the telecalls you've heard in last couple of months, it'll straight away talk about a proposition, a product proposition. This has got nothing to do with relationship building, or even a permission to meet or a permission to talk. Apps, they're very, very important. All these applications are amazing. Has been changing the world of sales more and more in recent years with a new innovation coming up seemingly every month. However, it is essential to avoid trying to utilize technologies that might not be as effective as they initially appeared. You can always do a test run with a small group of people, then you can move it to a larger mass. It's easier. This is one of my favorite magazines. This is also available online. This is Inc.com. Highlights some of the best smartphone apps for salespeople, such as JumpScan, which encodes one's information into a barcode, making the transfer of this data quick and simple. Now, this is readily available online. You can always find out what are happening. So you can implement to the sales teams as well as a coaching platform. Now, coaching tools are also available. Now, when you engage in sales coaching and examine your reps' sales activities, are the next 30, 60, 90 days filled up with firm appointments ready to close? That's the true test. Is it truly helping your reps meeting their objectives consistently? If the answer is yes, then let them use it. Just make sure they're not just playing Angry Bird in their smartphones. I've even heard of the finest of pilots. They say, we just wait for the flight to be airborne. We get restless if there's a weather condition, because I need to kill more piggies. Yeah? So, next comes the coaching or mentoring tips in bullets. This will always enable better retention, because sales attrition is one burning problem every time. Even teams, they quit, right? With a leader, the teams quit. Lift your salespeople's spirit up, make them feel better with a renewed attitude to try harder, and maybe use a different selling technique. Now, a lot of trainings are gamified these days. You can create a gamified or a learning platform within the company, which talks about a lot of dashboards. On top, you can give runs, points. Those points, once you accumulate, you can give them gifts, right? They can redeem those points. So, a lot of learning can be gamified these days through coaching. Now, anybody who's following the sales process to the T can be rewarded as well. Now, all his data is already entered in the Salesforce automation or the SFA tool, can be rewarded. All the positive habits, best practices can be shared or picked up by all. Now, the 530 syndrome. Please don't berate someone who didn't do well in front of the others in a review meet. People quit. not even having a job in their kitty, they'll quit. Get those who did well, talk about what worked for them. It comes as a user testimonial. See, I have used this. Suddenly, I got back my lost hair. It's all black now. Yeah. So they can do a lot. Yeah. If you see an ad where you talk about, a hair transplant, you'll see a Shen warning. Yeah. He looks good with all this change. Now, if he talks about that, probably the company gets some business. So with that also, the successful people can come and talk to the rest who are not so successful. That gives them some boost. Be open and honest, a real person, and let your people know and believe you are there for them. Last year, 24th November, I was talking about the movie called King's Speech. Yeah, the speech therapist used to call the king as Bertie, his nickname. He had the guts to do that. And he told him categorically, if I want to coach you, it has to be in my studio, in my timings, and whatever I say. It will be somatic, whole body. You need to roll out on the floor to shake your inhibitions up. Otherwise, you're a good speaker. If I goad you to anger, you're perfect, right? If I want you to read Shakespeare, you read it perfectly all right. You'll have to have immense faith in them, yeah? So these are the few mentoring tips which I'm sharing. Now, retention. If all are done, there's a fair chance that retention will happen. But the kind of tools people try is contest-based. See the graph? Towards the extreme left is the baseline. Pre-contest has gone down. Suddenly, there's a burning problem. People start calling up the marketing team to create a contest and roll it out within the next 20 days. Now, for next 30 days, this contest will be up. The date will be, again, updated for next 3 quarters. So it talks about going to Malaysia or to Bali at the cheapest available package. That's fine. But what happens? Suddenly, the graph went up. But if you see the post-contest graph, it's back to the baseline again. You can match it with a lot of your experiences. I believe so, right? So when I spoke to a couple of industry people in different industries, I found this out. It's a short-living pattern. It'll go up. Again, the graph comes down because there is no coaching. People quit, right? One more to go. Cash incentives. Dinner with CEO, movie tickets. Yeah? If you do 5 lakhs, you get 10,000. Fine. But a more sophisticated approach involves a tiered commission rates or kickers set at a threshold. A multi-product company can design differential rates to drive revenues in different products. This incentive approaches are focused on cash, which is considered a strong motivator. So if it's not cash, if it's not contest, then what else? That's left for my next speaker, who's one of my favorite last year also, Aparna. So last year I loved your session when you talked about the incentives and all. So I just wanted to keep those last 2 slides. If not cash, if not contest, then what else? All right? So before I end, you're free to ask questions. Anything to do with? Yes. It needs to be discussed thrice. One at the consultant's level, right? When we are trying to recruit him, we need to sound him off once. We have to reinforce during the interview, right? And then we need to reinforce it again with, you have anything to ask? Anything more to ask? Anything more to ask? Done with? Onboarded, first one-on-one meeting, the reporting manager and the reportee. KPI. So it's reinforced thrice. Now you can be rest assured that this guy is good with his KPIs. Or else, pick up a guy who's a very successful salesperson, ask him about his KPI of all these product mixes and 2Xs and 3Xs. He'll first go to his desktop. No. My documents. No. Search. No. best practice sharing, rather worst practice. It happens to a lot of people. So I agree with you, not once, but thrice, reinforce it. Any other questions? Be it hiring, training, or coaching?